The other thing is we've added this ability to reference user attributes in SQL. So let's see if I can type a live demo. And it's want to demo this because I want to see if people have strong feelings about this way of referencing. But basically, like, you know, user attributes, that's just like the bag of user attributes. The user attribute, this is one of our system user attributes. And then as string is to say, like, make this a string literal. And then we add, hope I didn't typo. I didn't typo, and I've got this cool little
what else would you ever make it,
dimension
Stephen?
that is super useful. Sorry?
What else would you ever make it besides, I don't know, a string or a number? Like what else would you make it besides what it is?
You could make it a numeric literal. Well, it's about like typed. What it becomes. Yeah, so like it could, they're typed, but they lose their type info when they get to this layer, which is a little awkward.
I see.
But yeah, and the other thing that it leaves open is the possibility that we could allow them to be raw columns. Like basically, like it would be like as column or something, or like it would, and that would be, you could in theory select a dynamic column based on a user attribute.
It would just plumb that type.
Just this. We could plumb the type, in which case we could drop this whole as string thing. But then, as long as we were sure we never wanted the dynamic column thing, that's the thing. Like if we just made the reference this part with no dot as string and then plumbed the type, we would then just be committed to like their only literals, which is kind of fine. You could just write a giant case when for a string selecting a column, but you would be, so yeah, that would be the kind of, that's the only like one-way door aspect of this.
I mean, if we successfully plumb the type, wouldn't we just be able to, if it is a column type, then just treat it differently?
I guess we could have a column type user attribute. It's a little weird because it's just a string, right? It's just that it gets used in SQL in a certain way. But we could, I guess, have a column type user attribute.
Couldn't you also, in the case of the column type, say as column, and the default is just to use the type that it has, and then when you want to substitute it in that way, you can give it this treatment?
There are weird mustachisms with the way that Mustache works. Maybe there's a way to hack it, but I think this thing, like, this either needs to be this can't both be like a thing that produces an output and also something that dangles off these dot. But maybe there's a way to make it work. Anyway, I'll drop the PR in the channel, in like the product channel, and folks can think.
Next question. So we've got user attributes. When are we going to introduce like environment attributes or environment variables? I mean, we just saw the DBT environment variables at work. Like it seems would be potentially pretty handy to also introduce environment level variables.
It's possible we'd want to, and maybe user attribute, maybe that's an issue with this top level namespace, but I think we'd want to like give them special omni prefixes, but put them all under the same thing just for like ease of implementation. So like it's just all one bag of
attributes.
Something we'll pull out. Yeah. So good point.
Yeah, I agree, Stephen. That makes sense.
And then also seeing this, I'm like, oh, what about, we got Mustache interpolation. In Liquid, we had all of like conditional stuff and that kind of stuff. Where are we able to accomplish that without writing a giant case statement?
Wait, that's the Mustache does not allow you to do most conditional things, which is sort of why, well, Richard picked it. And then I jumped on the bandwagon to put it in SQL because by lack of having the conditionals in Mustache, it makes it easy to make it work with our kind of parse SQL where we like know ahead of time the structure of things. So you can't have arbitrary transformations. So yeah, that's the.
Steven, are you putting any limits on the types of Mustache syntax you can use? Like, can you use some of the looping constructs and so forth?
No, it's very limited, very, very limited.
It's just the pure reference.
It's basically this pure reference for the user attributes, or then we already have Mustache for the template of filters. But like, so it's basically the mechanism to use those two things.